Okay. Okay. Welcome, Rabbi Davis. And Shama, welcome, Rabbi Anchi. I don't know. Anchi. Good evening. How are you?
Skeleton crew.
Good.
It's a good thing I came. Otherwise, you'd be preaching to the non-choir.
Uh-huh.
He can't sing.
I have also some two covered hair.
No, that's my coat.
Oh no, on the computer,
Oh,
the Zoom.
Last time I read 11,
What?
very good for speaking, so that's right.
Sorry?
Last time with Rabbi Lev, is Rabbi Ginsburg was speaking.
Beautiful. Okay.
And you as well.
Very nice. Okay. Um, should I put the person is the person on the porch is interested also, or
if he gets to come in,
okay?
No wait from them.
Don't wait for him.
You know,
Okay. Okay, Rabbi Davis, you're here? Let's see if he's here.
no, the other one should be
He's muted.
on that.
So Anchi, not sure. I don't hear any response from them. Okay. Oh, hello.
Hi, Rabbi. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, good evening. Good evening.
Yes,
Okay.
it's correct. Thank you very much.
Okay. I see you.
Finishing
I
some
see you.
finishing some schoolwork.
Oh,
Baruch
okay, no
Hashem,
worries.
the bachelor's degree. That's going to be finished by tomorrow, Mitzvah. So that's good.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Just wanted to see who my crowd was tonight.
That's
Okay.
correct. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have another one that I learned also in Living Torah with. Do you know Mayo Coco? He does design work with let's say art with Simchas.
Not familiar.
Yeah, so he calls on a WhatsApp thing. We talk about we learn Shulchan Aruch together, Baruch Hashem, and also like Wellsprings of Torah. That's like
Beautiful.
at 10:30 at night.
Oh, okay, amazing.
So Baruch Hashem, when we do some schoolwork, we need chizuk. We need to learn. So keep
Yeah,
busy,
yeah,
Baruch
yeah.
Hashem.
Keep yourself busy, yeah. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Okay. Okay, amazing. Okay. And I see Rabbi Davis, maybe he'll also join us soon. Okay. The story is we're coming from Yitzhak Kislev. Yitzhak Kislev. What happened? We know that the Rebbe was in jail. The Rebbe was put in jail. The Rebbe says that when he was in jail, he got visitors. Visitors from the
Free to generation.
yeah from the Baal Shem Tov and the Mezusha Maggid, even though they already passed away many years before that. The Baal Shem Tov and the Mezusha Maggid came to visit him from the other world. And the Rebbe asked them, "Why do I deserve this? What do they want from me?" They answered that there was a kitrug, there was a decree that he's saying a lot of chassidus, that he's speaking a lot of chassidus in a revealed way that everyone should hear. That's why there's a kitrug. That's why there's a decree against him in heaven. That's why he was put in jail. So he asked them, so should I, when I leave from the jail, should I stop saying teaching chassidus?
What was the kicker was because he was teaching the secrets of Hashem.
Yeah, yeah. That was the kitrug. That was why he was put in jail. Yeah.
Yeah, well, didn't the Baal Shem Tov do that before him or not?
I love the question because that's exactly where we're heading.
Okay, go ahead.
Very good. Beautiful. So he said, when I leave, should I stop? He says, since you started, you shouldn't stop. Adrabah, when you should go out, you should say even more. That's the story. That's the end of the story. That's the story. It's brought in the book Beis Rebbe. Beis Rebbe is a historical book from earlier generations. That's the story. Which means, what is the story saying? That the physical Tfisa, Meiser, the jail of Alter Rebbe was because above there was a decree, there was a kitrut. And therefore he wasn't sure he should continue, and his Rebbe said he should continue even more. Question is, like you just asked, question is, this type of kitrug we had already in the time of the Mezritch Maggid, his Rebbe, the Mezritch Maggid, of Dave Ber Mezritch. What was the story? The story was that the story this story is printed in Hatamim. It was in a book called Hatamim. It says like this. One time there was another student of the Baal Shem Tov, Pinchas Karitzer. One time came to visit his friend, the Mezritch Maggid, the Deber, and he came. He saw, it says he found a ksav of Chassidus, a paper with writings of Chassidus on it, and it was rolling in the mud. It was on the floor. Someone dropped it, or the wind blew it from somewhere, whatever. And he was upset about it because he felt differently than the Shemagid. He felt that he shouldn't be teaching it so openly, and this was sort of proving his point that when you teach it so openly, what happens is that it could come to a situation you can have it in the mud in places where it's not supposed to go. The people is not supposed to go
Yeah.
So this is his point. So there was a kitrug in Shemayim on the Mezritch Maggid from the Pinchas Karitz's kapeda, and his being makbid is so that causes should be a kitrug.
Right.
So because of the Mezritch Maggid was mafarsim the secrets of the Torah and the way as the lashon is tishtapachna in the Eichel, it says the lashon tishtapachna avnei kodesh berishka chutzos. The avanim of the Beis Hamikdash spilled out and in the streets. And so what happened was Alter Rebbe was there, and he noticed what's going on over here. He noticed that how he was upset, how the Pinchas Kreitz was upset, and he told him a mashal. It's a famous mashal. What's the mashal? The mashal is that there was a prince, king of the king's son. He had only son. He became very sick, not stam sick like he was, like very dangerous, like he could die from it. And they couldn't find any medication for him, any way how to cure him. Only what they found, one person finally came and said, Rabbi Davis, Rabbi Davis.
I'm here.
Okay, hello. So he said that you should take from the stone, not stamina stone, the gem of the king's king's crown, and the what do you call it? The crown jewel, the main jewel, which the whole beauty of the crown depended on that one. Hello. Okay, we have another participant. So, and he said, take that jewel, which is in the crown, and you should grind it up, mix it with water, and pour from this mixture, this concoction, pour it into between the lips of the prince's mouth, lips of the mouth of the prince, and maybe because with the hope that maybe maybe even one drop is going to go into his mouth, he's going to be able to swallow it, and that's going to save his life. So, so he says, so too also spreading. Oh, Shalom Aleichem. He said that spreading Chassidus is the antidote for the Yidden. And Yidden are need chayas, need energy, need to be uplifted, duration. So it's worth it for even to crush the crown jewel, because maybe a drop will go into and into the prince's mouth and give him life. So yeah, it's part of it. You're crushing up the crown jewel. A lot of it's going to waste.
Why did he like to get it? The kid.
The child was very sick.
Oh, sick kid.
He was very sick. He came so sick. He wasn't even weren't even able to swallow properly. He said, pour it in, and maybe a drop. It's going to spill. Part of it's going to spill out.
So Michigan guys, anyway.
So he said, and it's kedai to do it in order to maybe if one drop will go in, it will save his life. So to also, even though taka, chassidus taka, sometimes the secrets of the Torah are going to be sometimes going to places where they're not supposed to go, but it's worth it if maybe one drop of chassidus will go into a yid and inspire him to have a life, to be alive as a yid, the way the yid's supposed to be. So it's worth it. So this is what the Alter Rebbe told the Pinchas Karatzer. And that's when he said that, Pinchas Karatzer accepted what he said and he calmed down. And in Shemayim, the Kitrug went away. Oh, Harav Nemtsov. The Kitrug went away, and there was no Kitrug anymore on the Mizisha Magid. There's no decree against the Mizisha Magid anymore. That's a story which happened already in the time of Mizisha
You
Magid.
told that story so slow. I forgot the beginning and it's
Sorry. What details? What details?
I mean, you said it. You tell a story. You forget the beginning. You told them I was so slow.
Okay. So should I say it over very quickly?
No, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say.
You're talking to different people you're talking about. You got to say it
Okay.
fast.
You're right. You're right. I'm going to say it over very quickly for you. Okay. There was a son of a king, which he was very sick, and the king had no cure for him. The only way they were able to find the cure was from the crown jewel. You crush it up, mix it into water, and give it to the king, the prince, and so even a drop will go into the king, into the prince's mouth. That will be able to maybe it will be able to. And so he said, this is also the same thing, also like that. Even though you were going to die to crush it up to do whatever it is, it's part of it's still out. But if a little bit is going to go into us, into Yid, and gives us life, it's worth it. So that's what the Pescarate, that's why he told the Pescarate, he says, yes, there's Taka something which is on the floor, Taka, a little Chassidus was on the floor, but it's all worth it that maybe a drop will go into Yid and give him chayas.
Remember Jamagi said that?
The Rebbe told Pinchas Karatzer, and Pinchas Karatzer said, accepted it, and therefore he said he's not gonna. Therefore he wasn't upset anymore with the Magid, and in Shemayim there was no more kitrug anymore on the Magid.
What about the kid who got out already?
Fuck. So now we backed up to before.
Oh, that's the past.
That's the past. The question is the question which you asked before. That the question is that why now we're having a new kitrug? We said that the reason why the Alter Rebbe wasn't put in jail was because of what? Because there was a new kitrug on the Alter Rebbe that he was saying chassidus. What do you mean? We already explained that the Alter Rebbe already said that it's it's not a problem to respect chassidus because it's important in order to save the person's life. So Yidden's life by giving up chassidus.
Yeah, it's not.
So that's the question. So why was a new twizu? Why was
there a new one?
Why was a new kitrug? Right. So let's first say what that Arizal says. That Arizal says a very interesting thing. Not everyone knows. It's a very, very important thing to know about. A very interesting question. Question B'chal. We have to understand what about the only expecting learning Kabbalah and Chassidus. Kabbalah already before even Chassidus came around, they were learning Kabbalah. All the Gedalim were learning Kabbalah. Why? The question is, the Chura, we know in Masechtas Chagiga, it says over there that you're not allowed to teach, not allowed to learn Kabbalah. Only special people, one Maseidah, pass it on. Right? It says Allah Shana Pasuk, Chazal say Dvarim Shem Kivsheni Shalaylam, things which are the hidden, concealed, Sisri Shalaylam, your tax should be under your clothing, should be hidden. Do not be revealing the secrets of the Torah. It says a lot of conditions in the Gemara and the Rambam paskins that way that you're not allowed to just learn Kabbalah. So how in the later years are we suddenly the Deiros Achreinim we're suddenly able to Megala this Chachma? So that Rizal says he says that Dafka b'Deiros Lashon Rizal. Rizal says Dafka b'Deiros Eilu Achreinim Mutter Mitzvah Lagas Chachma. Dafka in the later generations of mitzvah. He says first of all it's a mutter and it's a mitzvah to reveal this Chachma. Even though the earlier generations there was a Chachma Kabbalah was nistra was hidden. And it was him. Now, they weren't able to know it. Only Yechidei Skula, only special select people were able to do it. Even those who did learn it was very secret, not in public, like it says in Gemara. There's a quote from the Alter Rebbe brings this actually in time, that brings this whole discussion. So, first of all, it's a very interesting thing. That Rizal is the one who says that it's mutter and it's mitzvah to Megalas Chachma. It's starting from the Rizal. Question is why? Look, it doesn't make sense. If it was also, how's the Rizal come suddenly? What's his reason? Like, how does something change?
How does who come?
How did that Rizal come around and just suddenly change it? I'm saying like Arizal, what's Arizal? The question is, what was the svara behind it? Like, what was the svara that now suddenly we're able to explain it? But Amal should be faket. In the days of Shainim, there were tzaddikim and everything. They should be able to learn the Kabbalah and Chassidus and everything. But how can a later generation, Dafka, later generations, the Abadishim, Megala, the Chachma of Chachmas and Kabbalah, of Chassidus and everything, how could it be? It should be the opposite. Yeah?
If he said that, why was there a kick?
Oh, okay. So let's understand what's going on. So even so, like this. So understood. So it's obvious. Obviously, you have to understand. Like it's lamdish lashon. People in a gavra chefsa, right? We say something is a gavra, is a chefsa, right? Right, and when learns in yeshiva, right, knows the chakira. It's a gavra, is a chefsa. Right? What's the difference chefsa and gavra? Chefsa means is it the thing? Gavra means it's the person. Is this that when you're not supposed to learn Kabbalah? This is what the Gemara says in the Rambam passing in Akis on Kabbalah. Is that a isser on the chefsa that is something that you can't that the Torah is something that's something usher about the Torah or Kabbalah that you can't learn it, or is it usher for the person to learn it? Is the problem the person or the chachma?
Yeah.
Is it the chefsa or the gavra? Yes.
Person on the lot.
Or the chachma is the issue of learning Teres Kabbalah is the issue inside the Teres Kabbalah or inside that the person's issue on the person to learn it.
Right, so it may depend on the person.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Comprehension.
Depends on the person.
Oh, so you're saying it's a person?
It depends on the person.
Depends on the person, and that's right because if the reason is because most people can't fully understand it, and therefore it could bring to not good results. The person understands it wrong. Right? So, but inside the Torah itself, the Torah is a chachma, it's a Torah is a Kabbalah, so it's a chelik from the Torah Sein Akdesha, from the holy part of it's all a part of Torah, and it shaft every single year Midasha Kilas Yakid, and every year is chayiv to learn it. Every year is chayiv to learn the Torah, just like it's chayiv to learn the whole Torah. So it's inside the person. Okay, so the person doesn't fully understand, is not able to fully understand it. Especially when the Rambam writes in the end of Sefer Hayah, the end of the Rambam, end of the Sefer Hayah the Chazaka, the Rambam writes, the Ba'isa man in that time, the time of Mashiach, the Rambam writes that there's not going to be Leisek A'ilam Alodas Hashem Avad. The world, what are they going to be involved with? What are we involved when Mashiach comes? What are we involved with? We're involved with learning about Hashem. That's what Mashiach, that's what we're going to do. The fifth of Yisrael Chacham G'deilam Yidin Dvaram Astum, and therefore the Yidden are going to be great Chachamim, and they're going to know the hidden Dvaram Astum, the hidden things. Be Sigu Das Beiram, and they're going to understand that the knowledge of Hashem Das Beiram. However much a person is able to understand. Hashem that the earth will be filled with the knowledge of Hashem, so just like the water covers the sea. That's how much knowledge of Hashem is going to be when Mashiach comes. So we see that everyone's going to learn when Mashiach comes. They're going to learn about Hashem, which means everyone's going to be learning. It says, like it says, the Alter Rebbe touches it up, and they're not going to be learning Nigla the whole day. Mashiach's going to come and be learning Chassidus. That's what the Rambam says.
Sorry, I got to turn the oven off. But let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Didn't the Baal Shem Tov encounter Eliyahu and Avi, and he said, when is Mashiach going to come? And Eliyahu says, when your well springs flow out all over the world, right? His well springs is Hasidus, wasn't it? I mean, is that
Yeah, yeah.
so? Why was it being Kidron?
Very good question. Right, it says he went to Heichel Mashiach. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. So obviously the Satan felt it wasn't yet the time. He didn't like it. He said you're doing it too quick. You jump it too quick.
The Alter Rebbe. So,
Yeah, he didn't say
maybe because maybe he wasn't teaching it here on the Kabbalah, he was teaching time, right?
he's teaching Chassidus, yeah. That's what but I'm saying, but whatever, yeah, it's a good.
Maybe Hasidus is too direct a form of Kabbalah for people. In other words, it's too it reveals too much. Maybe it reveals more than Kabbalah.
Explains that. That's what we're going to talk about. It explains it. Explains it it explains concepts of Kabbalah. Yeah,
It explains it.
yeah. You really, to be honest, it's not there to explain Kabbalah, but it uses concepts of Kabbalah, and through explaining it, explains the concept of Achdus Hashem. How there's only one, there's one of Hashem's only Metzias, only one. So it uses the terminology of Kabbalah. There's a line from the Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe Rashab is he says that the Olam, the Welt meint, the world thinks that Chassidus is a beer on Kabbalah, that's explanation on Kabbalah. Really, Kabbalah is a beer on Chassidus. What does that mean? Because it's using the concepts of Kabbalah to explain the explain Achdus Hashem. Chassidus' agenda is to explain how everything is about Hashem. And it explains the many levels in Kabbalah to explain how what's really going on.
So it's a new doctrine. That's why. That's what it was there. It's a new doctrine.
So it's connected to Kabbalah because it's explaining a lot of concepts of Kabbalah. So it is sort of connected. At the same time, it's with the Baal Shem Tov, it's expanding the whatever was expanding on the ideas of the Baal Shem Tov. Yeah, he was expanding on the Baal Shem Tov's ideas. But the thing is that he was, like we're going to explain soon, that it was doing more than the time was ready for it.
What I conceptually cannot understand is why the tikkun was to continue. That's what I conceptually.
So that's a great question. So that's a great question, a valid good question. And I heard different answers, but maybe one of the answers was that he was zeicha because of his Mesiras Nefesh. He was zeicha to be able to continue and to he showed that it was really he really meant that he really
I got better answer.
yeah, let me hear.
He stuffed it in jail. That was the tikkun.
Yeah,
That was it.
100%. I think we're saying the same thing. I think we're
He showed that he wanted
Yeah.
to stuff them. You have to pay the price.
100%. 100%. So that's what we're saying.
That's what he wants to be.
Yeah.
These things come all the time. These kind of kidroots.
Right?
Uh,
Right? 100%.
You got to show you what willing to suffer for Hashem.
We know the faith.
Is it analogous to Rabbi Akiva? Why he might have been tortured? Because he had to, in order to have the tremendous sluice of being what he says is his neshama went up when he said the word echad. That's like the ultimate experience in spirituality.
Actually, Rabbi Kiva says he was looking forward to Masi Yavil Yadivya Kemen. He says, when can I be Mesa Nefesh? He looked for Mesiras Nefesh, Rabbi Kiva.
Right,
was
but look at
the
the price he had to pay for that. I mean,
Yeah.
he was in pain.
100%.
So that's a similar concept.
Yeah. Yeah. The Yidden, it says also about the Yidden. Yidden went through Mitzrayim. They went through the Avedis Perech in order to be Zeichet to Matan Torah. There's a lot of said this a lot of times. Kur HaBayil says to refine the Yidden to be able to be ready for Matan Torah, to receive the Torah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's quite. So, okay, so we just when you walked out for a second, so we mentioned we're talking about Chefsa Gavra. Is the Isser of Chassidus of a Kabbalah? Is the Isser Gavra when the Gemara says in Rambam the Isser Gavra Isser Chefsa? So we're saying that it's Isser Gavra. So because really every year the Shaykh it's Shaykh the Merash Kil Sakir, like every Chiluk of Torah, and every person's Shaykh to learn every part of it. The only thing is that we're not today. We can't understand the proper. We're going to take it wrong. Whatever it is. Therefore we weren't supposed to learn it. So and we're what's a raya, a bigger raya also for that. If the Rambam brings, and Mashiach is going to come, the Rambam at the end of the Sefer, he writes that at that time the whole world is going to be busy l'datas Hashem b'lvad, just to learn about Hashem. So, and they're going to learn Dvarim Astumim. They're going to learn the hidden things. So if the whole world is learning these things, Kamayim Liyam Achasin, he says, because like the day, the Mallah is day as Hashem Kamayim Liyam Achasin, that the sea is gonna, that there's gonna be so much knowledge of Hashem, like the sea, the water covers the sea. So obviously, if Mashiach comes, we're gonna be able to learn Kabbalah and Chassidus. Obviously, that now that we're not learning it is not because there's a problem. Etzim, there's actually a problem with Etzim, with the chefsa of learning the Kabbalah and Chassidus. It has to do with, and now it's at the Gavrim, it's at us, it's at the person. He's not really. We're not really. They weren't really. That's obviously something. That's the first point. That it's Isser Gav. It's a Gavra. This is saying it says in Gemara and Kabbalah. So for those who weren't here, it says in Gemara, right? In Chagiga and the Rambam Paskin. Now they learn Kabbalah. What changed, right? They're saying obviously it's Isser Gavra. It's not Isser Ches. Not something that's wrong with learning Kabbalah. So that was it, right? So the question is, so what happened? What changed now? That Rizal says, right, 500 years ago, that Rizal says that it's now is a mitzvah, mutter mitzvah legalis is a chachma. It's a mutter and it's a mitzvah to megalis chachma. The way that Rizal did say certain conditions, how you have to prepare yourself, and there was also certain.
Even then, it was.
At that time, he's saying it wasn't for everyone. But Kabbalah was pretty. The Gra wrote a lot in Kabbalah. He has Svarim, Sifits, and he had a lot of Svarim in Kabbalah. And there was a big machlekes between the Yavitz and the Venus and Eibschutz, famous machlekes between them. He was on the side, the Gra was on the side of Kabbalah. So Kabbalah was learned since starting from the time of that Izal. Okay, the Renaissance became a Renaissance again of learning Kabbalah. The question is why? What changed? So we could say maybe two explanations what changed. The Rambam writes in the beginning, it was made in the Bukhim, right? The Rambam has a sefer made in the Bukhim, right? So it's a philosophical work. So the Rambam writes that the reason why he wrote the sefer is which has the Chur and Yanim Starim, hidden things, the deep things, philosophical ideas, which not everyone needs to know about. He says because Eis Lasel Hashem it's a time of need, and even though usually we don't reveal all these things, but it's time of need, we're gonna reveal these parts of the Torah. Why? Because Yidden at that time were Nebuchim. Yidden at that time were perplexed. It's a guy. Made in Nebuchim means a guide to the perplexed. Yidden were perplexed. We're confused. They were learning all these things. They were learning these philosophies. They were confused about these things. So therefore, he felt it necessary to reveal these ideas and philosophies to explain how all these things fit with Yiddishkeit. Everything fits with Yiddishkeit. If all the things Aristotle said, how it fits with Yiddishkeit. That's the if
Rambam also wrote Kabbalah.
the Ram also that's right. There's a lot of discussions about that, by the way. A lot of discussions about that, about if the Rambam learned Kabbalah or not. Lamaisa, we take on that the Seif Yam if he learned Kabbalah. You see, he starts a Sefer. He say this Amad Chachma Sit Kivavke Sinam is Hashem Hashem. But so right, the Rebbe actually says, saying that today it's not so. It's today our generation is not so philosophical. It's not so necessary. They don't have even the questions. It's not so necessary to give them the questions, and because the questions might stay by them, and the answers might not. They might not accept as much. So it's better not to introduce them to the whole idea of philosophy, because our generation is more into culture. Yeah, into culture and into social norms. Not so much into. We're not so philosophical. In the past generation, there was people were a little more philosophical. And that's where the Rambam felt it was necessary to write the Meirin Nebuchim. Today there are a lot of people who look at learn the Medrash and they rewrite it, they rewrote the Eretz Yisrael, they have the different machenes, they made it more accessible for people.
They see the guidance from the Rambam so many years ago.
So the same thing is also when you get Pnimis Atayr in the later generations. It's also Eis Lasses Hashem is a time where of need, and therefore Hefeda to the Sechra, right? Just like we know where this line there was the Rabbi Yehuda Nasi used this line when he wrote down the Mishnah, right? In the beginning, Teda Shel Peh, couldn't write down, right? Varin Shebal Peh, Yat Rashi Lamrim, right? B'Ksav, Varin Shebal Ksav, Yat Rashi Lamrim Bal Peh, right? You're not supposed to say Teda Shebal Ksav, you're not supposed to say Bal Peh, right? Unless things which people are shkef, people know, Rago, people know, like parts like a capital Chaf, things which people know, like parts of Tilim, and then you could say Bal Peh. The things that Teda Shebal Ksav to say Chumash Bal Peh, we don't do that. You can know about that, or in your mind about that, but to say it, like as a chiv to know kalatera,
So it's a chulu.
right? Right? And you know when they quote, you hear by the Rebbe of the Fabingans, he quoted a pasuk. He was medayik not to say the pasuk the way it is. He would change around the lashon of the pasuk,
Or we say the whole pasuk was v'chulu.
and you say b'chulu. V'goyim right b'chulu. Say b'chulu, but all the time you hear the Rebbe always switched around the lashon of pasuk to dafka not say it. It wasn't because he didn't remember the pasuk. He did it b'dafka because he didn't want to say the pasuk bal peh. Same things also when it came to Teda Shel Peh, the opposite, Teda Shel Peh, whatever Teda Shel, you're not supposed to say. You're not supposed to write it down. So the Yehuda Nasi saw that came a time that all the Yidden were leaving Eretz Yisrael and were spreading all over the world, and the Torah wasn't going to be forgotten. And there were a lot of tzaddas, and they didn't have these massive yeshivas the way they had in his times, and therefore people are going to forget. Therefore, he made them the Mishnayos in a short lashon that you're able to chazer easily, and he wrote it down, even though you weren't allowed to write it down. He was averred on a halacha. You're not allowed to write something Teresh Valpeh, you're not allowed to write down. But he did it because Ace last Hashem and Feda Teresachra, right? And who doesn't write down things now? Right? We always write down. We print, right? But starting from Yehuda Nasi, that's Ace last Hashem and Feda Teresachra.
Does the students explain in any way why is it so urgent that Torah Shabbat Peh should not be written?
Wow, it's a good question. I think there is explanation. I don't remember right now. I actually think there is the explanation. I think I once heard explanation.
So there's some of this guy on Discussion. Like a mix.
I don't remember right now. I have some idea which I vaguely remember, but I don't want to say. But I think there is explanation. Um, I don't remember, but it's yeah.
A big news and you know.
Yeah, even pastors, right? Yeah. I don't want to say the wrong things, but it's a good question. Yeah. So the same thing also by Pnimis Atayr in the later generations. We're also saying the same ideas. Eis lasel Hashem efedet eresecha. Because it was such a great yirida, such a of the later generations, such a descent. Which means in our level of spirituality, in our hearts, the nismat olavav is the hearts are not as great. And also mitzad the matzah of the world in general, that does a lot of bad, so a lot of as much it came to the world much stronger than before. So therefore, they become there's a hechrich, there's an importance to reveal this chachma, pnimis atayra. Why? Because that arouses pnimius of the Torah, arouses the pnimius, the inner part of the person's neshama, the neshama, which the hidden keiches in the person's neshama, and it gives him power to overcome the darkness of galus, from things which start from outside and from the person that feels inside, to be able to have avas Hashem, yiras Hashem, to serve Hashem b'leiv shalom. Says such a word. So that's one explanation. Ace lasses, it's a time of need, so we need something to inspire us to bring a deeper keiches out.
In a phone when a person is faint.
Yeah, so that
to smell something deep.
so it says by the Baal Shem Tov, already since the Baal Shem Tov came to the world, it says that the world was Hibisalfos, the world was like fainting. It says there's a ksav shalei neidolami, and Hashem sent the neshama of the Baal Shem Tov, his name is Yisrael, and just like when the person faints, one of the ways to try to wake him up is by calling his name. So too Hashem sent the Yisrael, the name of the Yidden. Let's wait to wake the Yidden up from the fainting. Because remember that was the time. A lot of exodus then after Tachatat. There's a lot of different things happened after before that time in the world. The Yiddish world was struggling, and that's and Hashem sent the Shalom Baal Shem Tov to give to awaken us from himself. So that's one explanation for what changed. Saying, but again, already started from the Arizal, already from the Arizal's times, already earlier, 500 years ago. And also, second reason number two, we find that there's a lot of inyanim which are preparing for us for Mashiach. And the Rambam says about Rabbi Navi, he's coming. L'yash Yisrael l'hachlim libim. He's going to come for Mashiach to appear them for Mashiach. And like when Mashiach comes and it says that Leinas Avo Chacham Neviim Mesa Mashiach Allah Kadesh Yitim V'Teiro Chachma. So that the Chacham Neviim, why did they want Mashiach? Because they want that you have free time to be able to learn Torah and His Chachma, to be able to be learning about Hashem. So how do we prepare that? Through learning Pnimis HaTorah. That's preparing for that's preparing us, preparing us. So there's two explanations. So we're going to explain. So also we find in learning Chassidus, two ways of learning Chassidus. It's al derech, the difference between the Mishnah and the Gemara. The one way of learning Chassidus that's very bekitzer, just like the lashon of the Mishnah, like that it says. It's the Rambam writes about the Mishnah is davar katzir v'kel yanim nalam. The Mishnah is very written, very brief, very short, and it has inside of it many yanim nalam. Like we see, the Gemara comes and takes it apart. That's one. That's one way of learning Chassidus. Another way of learning Chassidus is that it's we explain Chassidus on length. How's the Enikel Lavach? So say Barichus, like Aderech the Shakavataya the Gemara. The Gemara has Shakavataya. There's a lashon in the Gemara. The Zayir says at the time before Mashiach, Yisparnas Minei. That the Yidden are going to have are misparnas. They're going to be sustained from the secrets of the Torah. The Parsha Azayah, the Kisemelach, the Tikkun Azayah, different places, they explain that what does it mean Sparnason? Sparnason means that when you learn something very well, your mind's able to grasp it so well, it becomes one with it. It's just like when you eat something, it becomes internalized and becomes part of you. So too is a way of learning Chassidus in a way that you're able to learn it, able to understand it, and see all the details of it in its depth, and able to. It's like just like when you're learning Gemara, you understand everything's going Gemara. So you could open up Chassidus, right? It's like to open up a Sefer Chassidus Chabad. You open it up and you're able to. So it's letters today. You have today. You could. There's so many explanations of Chassidus, and that's Isparnus means. That's what the Zayir says, that it becomes one with you. You learn in a way that becomes one with you. It's an interesting thing. There's a stira, Alter Paskins. One place he says a person's supposed to learn, divide his day up in three parts. They're learning. Shlishin Mikra, Shlishin in Talmud, and Shlishin in Mishnah, Shlishin Talmud. And so Mikra is Pashtos Tanakh, right, Mishnah, and then you have Gemara. Svara, these were Svaras. So now, the Rebbe in one place says in Shulchan Aruch, the Rebbe Paskins, Kabbalah, learning Kabbalah is part of Shlish Mikra,
Like it's
like part of Tanakh. And it's the limit Hazer v'Kitzer Arizal is b'chlal Shlish Mikra. The Rebbe says in Hakastam Torah, Shulchan Aruch. On the other hand, in Yekuti Torah, the Rebbe says that learning Kabbalah is part of Shlish B'Talmud. part of Gemara. So what is it? So it depends how you're learning it. If you learn it in a way of Mikra, which means that you could read it, you could read the Chumash, and not necessarily you have to understand everything, which all the depth of the Chumash. It's like it says, you're reading the secrets of the Torah, but you don't really understand it. You don't fully understand it. So that's like when you read Chumash. If you can learn it in depth, you learn it well, Shakrataya, then it's part of it, then it's part of Talmud. It's part of learning Gemara. So there's two ways of learning. There's two ways of learning Chassidus. So this is the reason for these two ways. These that the two reason for these two ways are the two reasons we just said before. If learning Chassidus is just in order to give us chayas inspiration, so a vart is enough. You hear Chassidish vart, fire the kavert, that's enough. Because he has the nekudah. The Gemara says the hamor sheba machzir the mutter. That the when you learn Torah, the mor sheba, the luminary of Torah, the light of the Torah is gonna bring the Talmud Chacham back to Yerushalayim. It says it there when he. So there's Mefarshim, the Carbon Eda says, what does it mean? The mor sheba means to say this Chacham. So you learn the Torah, you learn Chassidus. So yeah, the nekudah of Chassidus, that could give you the fire to inspire you. So if the reason is because to save us, to save our in our generation, to be able to have chayes, to be misgaber over the chayshach. So we hear Chassidus Shabbat. This gives us chayes. So that's a short verse. Oh, yeah. But Mashenkin, if the purpose is to prepare for Mashiach, and then we're going to understand properly, we're going to understand Das Beiram, everyone's going to understand very well the secrets of the Torah, so they understand the greatness of Hashem. So then the way to prepare for that is to learn as much as you could, try to understand as much as you could.
What was the first one?
First one is if it's for because we're struggling in Galos, because it's dark.
Yeah.
In Galos, we're feeling challenged. So then it's enough. It's the nekudah of Chassidus. It's enough a little bit. The tippa, like we said, the drop of the medicine that goes into that's enough.
But why do you need that to prepare for Mashiach?
Oh no, that's one thing. But if it's the second way is preparing, if the reason is we're preparing for Mashiach, it's because Mashiach's gonna come, then we're gonna be able to understand the greatness of Hashem. So, in order for this to be a natural process, like the Rambam says, everything should be a natural process, shouldn't be just suddenly a miraculous thing. So we start by wetting our feet and starting now. So then
they say ready or not, it's going to happen. So whether we're ready or not, then we'll get the knowledge anyway.
Right.
When Mashiach comes.
So according to the Rambam says that when Mashiach is going to come, the Rambam passing is at least in the beginning, there's going to be not going to be a change. From the base in the Gemara, brachas. So in order for something not to be a sudden change like that, it should be that we should suddenly it can't just happen just like that. So we start off now.
You say nothing's going to change anyway.
It's going to be a process. Everything's a process. It's still a process.
Right. So that means we have to get acclimated to a higher level of spirituality.
100%. 100%.
So
but certain things that Rambam
for?
says, certain things that it says that Aliyah. Yeah. Well, so Aliyah Navi says, for example, you're asking very good. I like your question. It's valid questions. So it says Eliyahu Navi is going to come before to appear the Yidden for Mashiach. There's also different things that Rambam also says to appear the Yidden for Mashiach, to prepare for the world for Mashiach. Not good things. But so there is this concept of preparing the Yashir, the Rambam says Yashir Yisrael Lahachim Liban. There's certain things that the Rambam says Yashir Derech L'Melech Mashiach. There's certain things where we want to prepare. It's not just that it should suddenly happen like that. We hope it should happen just like that. But we're actually starting the process of Mashiach by learning about Hashem. The more we learn about Him, we're getting ourselves in the right gear, and we're gonna be ready for Him. We're not gonna be embarrassed when He comes. We're gonna be ready for Him. So If that's the ideal, so then the more we learn, the more prepared.
That's a valid explanation, yeah, we won't be embarrassed.
Right.
In other words, it goes into the set, the whole point of general
And to
preparation.
think about it, if this is if the Chachamim says that the Chachamim Nevi'im, the Rambam says that the Nis'aba Chachamim Nevi'im, the reason why they wanted the Meis Mashiach is that this is what they wanted. They wanted to be able to have free time to be able to learn and to know Hashem. They wanted it. This is what they were. This is the reason why they were looking forward to it. So obviously, you want to show Hashem. This is what we're looking forward for. We want to start showing that we're interested in tasting it a little bit now. You know, we got to show our that we want it. Like this is the real reason. This is the Chacham Nevi'im. You know,
This is the answer. This is the answer to the Baal Shem Tov, the preparation. That when you say when your wellspring will, maybe that's the secret.
100%, 100%, exactly. If not, some people think that when Vashanti went to Heichel Mashiach and asked him when are you coming, he said when you should put some in a sefer chutzim when you're going to spread out the well springs. Some people think, oh, it's a skula, it's a nice skula. You know, there's a lot of skulas. You know, there's a lot of books like this thick of all different skulas. You know, for different things. So Mashiach also has different skulas. It has a skula is that to learn chassidus. That's a skula. Okay, you know. It can't come to a certain point of time. We say, this is not necessary anymore. Let's learn a different school. No, because it's not a school. It itself is part of the process of Mashiach.
Right.
So that's what's going on over there. And that's why every generation becomes more and more explained and more um
Also understand.
yeah, understanding and more spread out, and more people are more accessible. Because that's the point. It's accessible. The message should get out to everyone. You know, the whole world should know about Hashem. What we say, "V'yemahu yi Hashem echad u'shmei echad." Right? At that time, the whole world is going to get this message that it's all about Hashem. You know, they should stop thinking about their AIs. You know, they should start thinking about Hashem. But we could use
AI thinking time.
yeah. Now we're going to take AI. We're going to say AI. You also should teach time.
He's thinking time.
Yeah, we should also learn about Hashem.
You're like an AI Mashiach. So.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's what I'm saying.
Take a copyright. No, take it and buy it before someone
The
takes
question is, will it look like the Lubavitch already?
it. No comment. So so now we understand what happened over here. Those who weren't here in the beginning is that the question was we started off was what happened over here. We had already the time of the Baal Shem Tov and the Mizrach Magid. They were teaching Chassidus, and then there was a Kitrug and the Mizrach Magid. That's why the Alter Rebbe had to say this whole mashal about the child of the king who needed the crush the crown jewel to maybe get one drop in, right? And even though some of it spills out and some of it's ruined, you're ruining the whole crown jewel, but it's important in order to save the prince, and that's the reason why the Kitter went away because he says that even though Chassidus is going in places where maybe you shouldn't go, but it's important in order to save the Yidden in order to give them chayas. The question is what's new? Why is there something a new Kitrug? He say when Al Rebbe went to jail. The reason why he went into jail, he asked his rabbis, the Baal Shem Tov and Mizrach Maggid, why he went into jail, and he said is because there's a Kitrug l'mayla because he's teaching Chassidus. But we already took away such a Kitrug. We already Al Rebbe himself is the one who took away that Kitrug for earlier. So what happened? What changed now? Why suddenly now is a new Kitrug? Al Rebbe has to go to jail, and then they told him that you should continue even more now once you went in jail, so should continue even more than before when you go out. Questions: what was the new Kitrug? Answer is what we just explained. And that explanation which the Alter Rebbe gave was the only explanation why you could teach Chassidus very in short. In short, that you could do that like the way the Baal Shem Tov and the Mizrach Maggid and his Talmidim were taught. The other Sifrei Chassidus, Talmidim of the Mizrach Maggid, the way they taught Chassidus was very short. Some things it's very hard to understand. A lot of the Chassidus. Because they said it very bekitzer, especially the Baal Shem Tov. Even the Alter Rebbe himself also said it more bekitzer. So what happened was when Alter Rebbe started explaining it more in ways that we can understand, in ways in more shakavatay and explaining in a way that people can understand. So now is a new kitzer. This is not necessary. So what? So what happened? So so through his Mesiras Nefesh, through his Mesiras Nefesh, through his Mesiras Nefesh, he was zeicha that he should be able to explain even more. And why? Well, that was the purpose of explaining even more, to prepare the Yidden for Mashiach. That's what the Nukzida. That's what's going on here. Like it says Rashi says in the pasuk in Shira Shirims, right? He said Shakeni Mashiach's Pio. Rashi says the Mashiach is going to come. Rashi says that then is going to be a Gilei of Soid Tameho Umister Svanisel, the revelation of the secrets of the Torah. Mashiach comes. That's what Rashi says in the second pasuk in Shira Shirim. So therefore, that's why there was this. That answers the question why there's a new kitzur. Because Alter Rebbe wasn't just saying it the way the Baal Shem Tov and the Shemagid and the Talmidim, they were saying the kitzur. So that was enough to give a chayis. But Alter Rebbe started to consider this Chabad that he should explain it by richus and at length, explain it in Shaka V'Taya. So because of that, there was a new kitzur. And Alter Rebbe, like you said, he was zeicha because he had Mesiras Nefesh. He went into jail. He was zeicha that to be able to say this even more, to explain the secrets of the Torah even more. Why? Because the purpose was in order to prepare for Mashiach. That's why every generation, Taka, it's more and more. Each Rebbe of Chabad explained it even more and more. You know that it's the something that which the Alter Rebbe explains. It said something in one page in Sefer Kotitero Terer. You see in the musician the his son, the next generation, the Mittler Rebbe, the Diver, he said it in many pages, explained it so well, and so on every single generation went more and more. And until came a time of Fita Rebbe, and he started explaining things and translating it into different languages. Before the Fita Rebbe didn't translate Chassidus into different languages, and it's translated and by the Rebbe it's translated in every single generation. Now Chassidus today, every language. I don't know all the languages, but most languages. Maybe there's some languages that are still left. I'm not a buck in all the languages of the world. But even there was a time, right, that Rebbe made a big deal about it when it was in Braille, right? They in Tashanun.
They even painted in Morocco the Tanya in Arabic.
Arabic, right? Yeah, that's right. In Arabic, Italian, the Tanya's and they're printed in Italian, and Russian, all the language, a lot of languages. So what's the idea? The idea is that it should reach the well springs of Chassidus should reach everything. Every single place, and this way the whole world is going to be talking about Hashem. We're learning about Hashem, coming closer to Hashem, and that's preparing the whole world for Mashiach. Do we have a minyan?
Yeah, we're exactly 10.
Okay. So the Maisa Iker, let's finish off. The Maisa Iker.
Chai Alevi?
So the Maisa Iker that we shall learn. Oh, we have here, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. After we have the Ira, to continue after it is to learn more Chassidus.
Spread it.
And it's spread it as preparation for Mashiach. And even if somebody who thinks that he's okay, that he doesn't need chayas, he thinks he's spiritually okay.
Dafke he need more.
But we need. By the way, in other places it says that's inside the generation going lower and lower. We need even more chassidus. We need to learn chassidus even in more depth, even in order to give us a boost for our spirituality, to bring out the deep peichets which we have. To learn a lot of chassidus, also to prepare for Mashiach.
The Tanya book,
Yeah.
250,000 books.
Wow.
250,000. It's sold now.
Wow, unbelievable.
How many people are learning Italian? That's enough.
No,
So
we got to start learning, huh? This safe is very special safe they printed. Yeah.
The question is Hasidus accessible to everybody? Because I tell you the truth, the few times that I've tried to learn it, nothing sank in. It's like bounced right off everything, nothing. Not one concept sank in. I'm thinking maybe certain neshamas are not.
We're in Shama. We just need to find. We need to find the right method that works for you. And there is something out there. There's ideas which are more accessible and more easier for understanding. Which
Like for example, the Yashliv, the Arizal.
Alshif, yes.
You
Where Neshama is right.
It's not supposed to learn.
Right. Chassidus is not like that, right. That was Soid. So Soid is a little different than Chassidus is a little different than Soid. 100%. That's true. Very good point to put up. Yeah, like there's a lot of you just have to find the right book or the right venue.
The right
The
motion.
right, you sometimes have the right person who knows how to explain it, or the right. There's you know, you can look at Chabad.org. Chabad.org, CHABAD.org is a very good site. Have a lot of different things to look up different things.
The seat, Rebbe seat is you have the seats, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
And I don't understand any of
So
it.
early, the first halakim, the first volumes are explained are very simple, are explained very nicely, very simple, right? So it seemed like we were talking over here. It seemed like you were pretty involved. So I think you have a good head. I think you're able to learn.
You
No?
have to find the mashpia.
Yeah. So
Borak and Bomaim.
here you come over here. The rabbi gives yeah.
Borak and Bomaim.
Thursday night. Thursday night is every Thursday night.
Sunday night we have a Chassidus Shir.
Sunday nights here.
Shabbos morning.
Yeah.
Shabbos morning.
Shabbos morning, and there's actually a Fabrengen Thursday night. This week is at Fabrengen, but usually it's a Thursday night. Something like that. Okay. Hatzlacha, everyone. Handshake. Yeah. Rabbi Sabgir, Rabbi Nemtsov, Rabbi Pinchas. And I'm not sure who this number is, but everyone should have Hatzlacha, learn more Chassidus, and bring Mashiach. Okay. All tov. Ah, Hatzlacha. All the brachas.
I know.
You pick it.
Shkoyach, Rabbi Nemtsov. Mazel tov, right?
Yes.
Is that a baby? You know, should have a lot of nachas, all the
I
brachas.
mean, thank you.
Love it.
Gesund. Hatzlacha.